Hi, this is Lou, welcome to my channel, and today I'm going to have a bit of a chat with you about gold leaf. So I love gold leaf. I've been applying gold leaf to artwork for quite a few years, and this is a watercolor painting I made recently, and this is 23 carat gold leaf that I've applied in a little strip. What I've got here is an archival ink print of this painting that I took from a scan that I made before I put the gold leaf on. And I'm going to make some prints that are hand finished, so I'm going to apply some gold leaf to these as well. But instead of using 23 karat gold leaf, I'm going to use this, which is imitation gold leaf. You can see the difference that this is the real gold. Put that down there. And this is the imitation gold. There we go. And they look pretty much the same, except this is in a much bigger booklet, and you'll notice the difference on your wallet too when you come to buy them. There's a big difference in the price. Now the imitation gold leaf, it will probably tarnish a little bit over time, but I've had artworks that I've applied this stuff to years and years and years ago that I've had behind, in frames behind glass, and they look exactly the same as the day I applied it. So I don't know how long this tarnishing process takes, but I've not noticed it myself. But I will be sealing these, so with some UV protective top coat, so to give it a little bit of extra protection. So I'm going to just put a little stripe of the gold leaf down here. This is what I'm using. This is a little bit of size that I've decanted into a pot to make it easier to apply. This is the actual bottle that it comes in. This is metal leaf size. Now size is just the name of the glue that you apply the gold leaf with, and it never truly dries down. So it dries, but it always stays a little bit tacky, a bit like a post-it note. You can kind of stick your finger to it, and it's always a little bit sticky. But there's a whole world of information, technical stuff about gilding, which I'm not an expert. So there's an awful lot more about gilding if you want to get into it, and there's some real skill involved in gilding. So I'm not claiming to be an expert, but just to show you how to add a little bit of sparkle, a little bit of bling to your artworks. I've got a paintbrush here, and I find it useful to use a flat brush because I can get a nice sharp edge. And I'm just going to paint it on. I'm just going to try and use the edge of my brush to get a nice straight line going down one side and then the other. And make sure I fill this all in, and it's going to be easier for me if I turn the page. Like that, and then make sure that's nicely spread out and nice and smooth. I'm just going to carry on, do the rest of this this little section. Right, now I just need to wait for that to dry. Like I said, it's not going to dry completely, but yeah, leave it a few minutes and you should be able to see it looks a little bit less shiny than it did before. While I'm waiting for this one to dry, I'm going to apply some size to another painting as well, and this one is an original. So I've made this painting here, and I've done like the two sides here, and I've painted this stripe down the middle, and I'm going to put some gold leaf circles on this bit here. So what I've done is I've marked some little dots at the centre of every circle that I want to make in gold leaf. I don't know if you can see them on here, they're very, very faint. But that's what I want. I just need to be able to see where my centres are going to be. Do not worry about this splodge here. If this painting makes the cut, it's going to be cut down and then applied to a wooden panel like this one here. So I don't need to worry too much about anything kind of beyond the margins, which is why when these little bits got a bit scrappy, I didn't worry too much about that. In order to make my circles, I got something really nice for Christmas. I got a vintage set of compasses like this, and there's one missing, but there's enough here to do some really interesting stuff with. And this one here, you can see it's got the point, and it's also got this funny end on it here, which is essentially it's a ruling pen. And what you do is it's got two tines, and you kind of float some ink or something in between the tines, and then you can write with it. But I've been experimenting with it using masking fluid So putting masking fluid in this bit here and then using that to be able to draw circles in masking fluid. So that's what I'm going to do here. I need to just make my circles the right size. So all I need now is a paintbrush, and I've got a bit of a manky one because I'm going to be using it with some masking fluid. And I take this and I paint it into the little gap between the tines of this little bit on the end there. Now I can do a practice because I said I wasn't going to need the margins here, so let's do a practice on the margins there. So I put the centre point of my compasses down, and I should be able to inscribe a really fine circle of masking fluid. There we go, just like that. Don't even know if you can see that. Right, let's fill her up. I think it's good to try and fill it up, not over the thing I'm going to paint on. And then I'm just going to go and start making these circles. So one at a time. Oops. Careful. Okay, we've got one. Can I do a second one that meets it, doesn't overlap? It's good. Okay, now I need to give this a good clean because it'll get all gummy if I don't. Right, this isn't taking long to dry at all. I think by the time I put the compasses back in their box, the first one is probably going to be dry. Now my masking tape circles are dry, I can paint inside all of those circles with the size. Right, so I've painted all of those circles in the size, and because I put those masking fluid circles around them, I should be able to remove. I didn't have to paint so neatly. I could have just done little pencil circles and painted up to the pencil, but because I've done the masking fluid, I can paint up to and over the masking fluid, and then I can rub it back, and I should get some nice perfect circles. So this is dry, but like I say, not completely dry, still a little bit tacky. And I'm going to apply the imitation gold leaf to it. Now I just take a sheet and it comes out and it's attached to the paper backing. And all I need to do is flip it over and place it down and then give it a little bit of a rub. So I just want to make sure I'm covering over the area that I want to leaf, and do a little bit of rubbing with my finger on the back of the tracing paper. It doesn't matter so much for this one because this metal leaf is quite sturdy, so if I touch it with my finger it's not going to go anywhere. But if you try this with the real gold, and if you touch the real gold with your finger, it just disintegrates. It's so thin and delicate. So I've got a little bit at the bottom I'm going to need to do. So what I need to do is to take this up and just try and leave as much on the tracing paper as I can, and then just add a little bit more at the bottom. like that. There we go. And if you see any gaps, you can just press down on them, and then that should be nice and stuck. But you should be able to see that it's got some kind of raggedy edges where the gold leaf is kind of torn away. So you just need to take a brush, and I've got a really cheap paintbrush that I use. And I just go over that with the brush, and you should be able to get rid of any little bits. For the imitation gold leaf, I only save the big bits, and I can use them on projects. With the real gold leaf, I try and save every little bit. So I should be able to just brush away any excess. The other thing that you can do if you get an edge that's not very neat is you can just take a little bit of a scalpel, and actually I don't think I've got any on here. Maybe there's a little bit of one there. And I can just tidy up the edge, just very gently scraping at it like that. So now I should be able to remove the masking fluid. You can do this afterwards, I think, but I'm going to try and do it now. Okay, so all of my size is dry. You should just be able to see a little bit of sheen where those circles are. And this one, because it's an original painting, I'm going to apply the 23 carat gold leaf. I think I can probably get away with one sheet, but we'll see if I need two. If I need to break into a second one, that's fine. They are more expensive than the imitation gold leaf, but still we're talking very small amounts here. So let's see. So just place that on. Again, I'm going to rub it lightly with my finger, and with this one you might be able to see that it's already breaking up really simply, really easily, and just pull it and the excess comes away. And again, if I touch this with my fingers, in fact let's do a little bit there, you can see it just sort of disintegrates, it falls apart. So I don't want to do that. So hold the tissue, and oh, there we go. Go plenty in one sheet. In fact, I've got a third of a sheet left. So yeah, again, any gaps you can just fill in, press down on them. And put this back to one side and take my soft paintbrush and just start going lightly, very gently over my gold circles. And for this you shouldn't need as much pressure as with the imitation gold leaf. It should come off really simply. With this one here, I've got a few little smudges to the side there. That was probably a sticky fingerprint that I put down that was covered with the size. This is a little bit of the masking fluid that's still stuck on there, so let's get that off. So for this I can take my blade, just very gently scratch at anything that shouldn't be there. A couple of other little bits there. You don't want to scratch too deep because I don't want to take away any of the ink or paint from the surface. So there we go, lovely shiny circles. So all I need to do now is to trim this down and decide whether I'm going to use it as my final piece and mount it. So here are my two pieces with gold leaf. So this one with the little strip on the print, and then this one with the 23 karat gold leaf, little circles like little coins. So I hope you found this useful and I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you did like it, then please give it a thumbs up. If you'd like to see more from me, then do subscribe to the channel. If you'd like to see the process of painting this, I've put that over on my Ko-fi account. I do a little extra video there every month for the people who support me, just to say thank you. And that's exclusive to anybody who's supported me over there, whether that's a one-off or a monthly donation. So thanks very much for watching today. I really hope that you've enjoyed the video, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks, bye-bye.